Right, so what we're looking at is how to take, we want to create a corner here. So I'm going to grab, not that. I'm going to grab with the marquee tool. I'm just going to grab this, right? So I'm going to grab this and do Command J and duplicate it. So what I get is a duplicate of that wall, right? And the reason I'm going to do that is because now I'm going to kind of distort it and I'm going to move it around. But in order to get it in the right place, right, you can decide how you want to do it. I can move it here. But so when I move it here, do you see what are you noticing? Right, do you see the wall discrepancy, right? So what we need to do is do Command T, and we're going to flip it horizontally. Okay, and what does that give me? If I bring this here, do you see how it's pretty seamless? And it's going to form our corner shadow kind of immediately, and that's automatically we're almost there, right? But I can't just do it like that. If I wanted to extend it, I could extend it this way. But again, we want to make a corner. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do distort. And what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to distort this, right? So we're somewhere along the lines of that. And you see I want to do it so it meets up with here. Now you can decide, do I want it to be a sharper corner? Do I want it to be, how do I want this to kind of be matched up here? Do you see that that's like a flat? That's not working, right? I want to make sure that I am making a pretty deep corner. You see how I can just drag that down, and what are we getting? Right, we're getting a corner. And that's really what I want to start to look at. I can bring this down and I can form more believable. Why isn't that believable?
Because the base of
yeah, I mean, it just looks, the baseboard just looks enormous here, right? We don't want that. We don't need that, right? We want that to be somewhere like this. We're going to have it go off the screen. We want to make sure that this is lined up as best as possible. Right, so I'm looking at that as lining that up, and then I'm going to do OK. Now, it's a pretty good corner. What is not really great?
the floor.
The floor, right? We're in some weird, like, demon dimension in the floor here. We fall through this dimension that's here. So we need to take the wall, or we need to take the floor and kind of do that same thing. So I'm just going to turn this off for a second, and we're going to zoom in, right? Just don't move your head closer to it. Zoom in. And you can use any tool that you want. You could use, what do I want to use? I want to use the polygonal lasso tool. And I'm looking at the floor, and I'm just saying, all right, here's the floor here. I got to follow this all the way back, make sure I'm doing it in perspective. And then I have the floor. Command J, duplicate the floor. Right, let's bring this back on. Let's bring this above it. And you see, though, as I move this, is that in the right perspective? No, right? We can't leave it like that because that looks also bizarre. So we're going to go back to the same thing and do distort. And, right, so I have a piece of floor that's already in. So all I'm going to do is try to align it to my floor, right? I'm just looking, okay, here's where that goes. We have to take this piece that's over here. Let's just get rid of this right now. Take this piece. We're going to match this up to the wall. Right, make sure that lines up. Make sure this lines up. Right, this lines up. It's pretty good. And we're going to do OK. Now, the only thing that we're missing here is we can't leave it like that. There's some pieces here that we messed up, so we're just going to use we're going to put a mask on it. We're going to get a little tiny brush here, and we're just going to kind of brush out these spots. Brush out this a little bit. And there we have our corner, right? So now you've created a corner from nothing. And so now this image takes on a completely different idea with it just being kind of flat, or it's the idea that, why is the baby in a corner? Why is he on a suitcase? Why is he staring? I don't know. But the idea, like, now you have this corner, now you can do all sorts of things, right? So the idea that your room or your photo just stops at your photo is non-existent. It's the reason Photoshop exists, is to be able to manipulate these things. And did I use very complicated tools to get me there?
No.
No, it's just the distort tool. But knowing how to use that and ways to combine it is what I want to show you, especially in this video.